Good morning, students, and welcome to the class of English. Today, again, we are here in front of each other, and in this revision video, I'm going to discuss the chapter "The Rat Trap" by Selma Lagerlof. And as we have been doing earlier, in this video also, we will discuss some important questions and especially the MCQ type. So let's start. So see, this is the first question. You have to read the following extract and answer the questions. So, but even so, the business was not specifically profitable. So he had to resort to both begging and petty thievery to keep body and soul together. Even so, his clothes were in rags, his cheeks were sunken, and hunger gleamed in his eyes. So, children, by reading the lines, I think it must be clear to you that this is from the chapter "The Rat Trap Seller." So here the business refers to. So what was the business of the rat trap seller? It's, I think, from the word it is clear, selling rat traps of wire. The character resorted to begging and thievery because. So choices are both are very profitable, they don't have risks, they do not require any capital, they do not require time. So the answer would be they do not require capital. They means to start the business, that is begging and thievery. You don't require any money to start the business. That's why he resorted to that thing. The character carried out three sorts of work to earn money, which enabled him to lead a happy life, enabled him to only to have full meals and nice clothes, did not enable him to have even full meals and nice clothes, and put him into trouble. So the character carried out these sorts of works because it did not enable him to have full meals and nice clothes. Alright. Now the character resorted to begging and thievery because his business was not profitable. Alright. So as it is in the first line, but even so the business was not especially profitable. That's why he opted to thievery. Next extract, it had never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people. It offered riches and joys, shelter and food, heat and clothing, exactly as the rat trap offered cheese and pork, and as soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, it closed in on him and then everything came to an end. So the question is, the world had always existed too. Free people from sorrows, free people from all responsibilities, free people from stress, set bait for people. So see, the world offers riches, joys, shelter, food, heat, clothing, and these are baits. Bait means in Hindi one word is chara, to catch fish. Generally, these all things are like a bait to catch human beings. So the answer would be set baits for people. So chara in English is known as bait. Riches and joys and shelter and food and clothing are offered by the world to free the people from any sort of worry, make people's lives stress free, trap the people, and make people's life tension free. So I think the option would be trap the people. So baits are for trapping. As we use bait to catch fish, in the same way these baits, joys, food, shelter, trap the people. When people are tempted to bait, then their life becomes happy, they start enjoying their life becomes restless, their life becomes worth living. So I think when we just get attached to bait, definitely when we catch the fish, what is the condition of its life? I think its life is gone now, it's lifeless. So definitely the answer would be their life becomes restless. The world offer riches and joys, shelter and food, etc. as people dash for people. So answer would be baits. Next extract is, the world had of course never been very kind to him, so it gave him unwanted joy to think ill of it in this way. It became a cherished pastime of his during many dreary proddings. to think of people he knew who had let themselves be caught in the dangerous snare, and of others who were still circling around the bait. So the world's attitude towards the peddler had been. So the answer would be cruel. The world had been cruel to the peddler. Thinking ill of the world gave the peddler tension, sorrow, joy, stress. So when the peddler thought of the world, so he became, when the peddler thought bad about the world, it made him joyful. He enjoyed because the world was cruel to him, as the first question's answer. The peddler thought ill of the world because it became a cherished pastime of his. He thought it during dreary ploddings. He knew no people had been kind to him. He knew many people who are caught in the dangerous snare. Because I think the fourth one would be the answer, because he knew many people who are caught in the dangerous snare. The peddler knew many people who are still dash round the bait. So let's check its answer again from the extract. Answer is C last line, circling around the bait. So the answer would be circling. Alright. Now next extract, instead of the sour faces which ordinarily met him, the owner, who was an old man without wife or child, was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. Okay, so now the peddler is in the house of the person who offered him food and shelter. Alright, so I think this passage is there. The owner treated the peddler harshly, unfairly, generously, roughly. So I think he greeted him generously, offered food and shelter. So generously would be the answer. As usual, people treated the peddler fairly, unfairly, justly, respectfully. It's clear he was treated unfairly by the people. The owner of the house or the crofter was happy to meet the peddler, as the peddler was a well known personality. The owner had no one to talk to him. The owner was an old man. The owner needed the peddler's help. So I think the owner had no one to talk to him. Children, I would like to just give a description of this question. The whole theme of this chapter, the rat trap seller, has been centered around what? Loneliness. The crofter suffered from loneliness. That's why he offered this rat trap seller shelter. The rat trap seller was also lonely. Alright. Therefore, he submitted to thievery and other things. Similarly, the iron master and his daughter, they were also lonely. So they offered the rat trap seller to be in the Christmas party. So the central theme which runs around the chapter is that every character suffers from loneliness. The peddler received unexpected dash from the owner. So answer is hospitality. Alright. Now next question is, but half an hour later the rat trap peddler stood again before the door. He did not try to get in. However, he only went up to the window, smashed a pane, stuck in his hand and got hold of the pouch with a 30 kroner. He took the money and thrust it into his own pocket. So now here is the place where this rat trap seller went back to the crofter's house, broke the window pane and stole his 30 kroners. So here are the questions. After half an hour, the peddler returned to the door with a view to meeting the owner, taking his rat traps, stealing crofter's money, having a rest. So answer would be, I think, stealing crofter's money. At this moment, the peddler did a brave act, broke the crofter's confidence reposed in him, respected the crofter's confidence reposed in him, none of these. So I think he broke the crofter's confidence because he offered food and shelter, and in return, what the rat trap seller did? He stole away his hard-earned money, that had 30 kroners. And children, here I do want to give explanation that How did the crofter earn the money? This question we asked in the exams. What was the source of his earning? So he used to sell the milk. The peddler did not try to get into the house, instead went up to the window because entering the house was fraught with risks. There were some persons on the door. The crofter could return to his house any moment. He already knew that the pouch with money was hung near the window. So I think last one is the right choice because he knew that the pouch is hanging near the window. So why to get inside the house? And it is dangerous also because someone could return to the house. The peddler took the desk and went away. So I think the money is the right answer. Now children, next question. He had let himself be fooled by a bait and had been caught. The whole forest with its trunks and branches, its thickets and fallen logs, closed in upon him like an impenetrable prison from which he could never escape. So now he has entered the forest where tall trees are there, denseness is there. Alright. Now, what was the bait for the peddler? Forest, money he had stolen, the world, the crofter. I think B and D would not be the choice. Now from A, I think forest was also not the bait. The money which he had stolen was the bait. The trap for the peddler was the money he had stolen, the crofter, forest, the world. See, now two things are there. First word is bait and the second word is trap. In the first question, bait. In second question, trap. So bait was the money in which he got stuck. Okay. Now trap was the forest. So by stealing that money, he fell into the trap, and the trap was the forest. For the peddler, the forest was like an prison, bait, branch, log. So I think it was like a prison because anything could happen with him. The peddler could never escape from the answer would be prison. Now, next extract. It was probably on account of all this noise that the blacksmith did not notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the forge until he stood close up to the furnace. So, the first question. Now, see here is the instance where Rattrap seller had entered the iron mill, and then that is blacksmith is there who is working with the iron mill. All right. So question is, the man who entered the gate was the crofter, a blacksmith's helper, peddler, the fire boy. So I think the answer is the peddler. Crofter, no. Crofter was the person different. Children, don't confuse peddler. Peddler here means rat trap seller itself. Alright, so don't confuse peddler with something else. Peddler means rat trap seller only. The blacksmith could not notice the man who opened the gate and entered the forge because he was engrossed in his work or of loud noises. He was engrossed in gossiping. The man entered the forge surreptitiously. So I think it was an iron mill and a lot of noises were there. That's why he could not notice the man. So I think answer would be of loud noises. The man entered the forge with a view to staying for the night, having some job for himself, talking to the master blacksmith, selling his rat traps. So I think his only option was he wanted to stay the night there because jungle is very dangerous. He was lost in the jungle. He could be eaten up by the animals. He might have lost. He might have suffered from any kind of problem. To warm himself, the peddler went close to the definitely. Alright, definitely near the fire. Okay, he stood close to the furnace. So answer would be furnace. Now next extract, you should not have resigned from the regiment, said the ironmaster. That was a mistake. If only I had still been in the service at the time, it never would have happened. Well, now of course you will come home with me. So it is the instance, children, when ironmaster is now inside the iron mill and he has misrecognized The rat trap seller or the peddler. See, I am using now two words for rat trap seller. Rat trap seller or the peddler. Both are the same. And he misrecognized rat trap seller as the one of his old acquaintance, that is Captain Niels Olaf. Okay. Actually, the ironmaster took the stranger to be the peddler, a blacksmith, a helper, his old acquaintance Niels Olaf. So the answer is already clear. Niels Olaf. That was the mistake. Here that refers to stealing the money, resigning from the regiment, the peddler's entry into the iron mill. So what was the mistake? You should not have ran from the regiment, said Iron Master. That was the mistake. I think the answer is already given. Running from the regiment. The speaker offered the listener to go his home with him, a job in his mill, some money, a permanent shelter. So the speaker offered to go home with him. Here's the last line. Well, now of course you will come home with me. The speaker said the listener that he should not have resigned from the answer is regiment. Okay, now children, next extract. The Iron Master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. Now, who does he refer to here? Now, as I can read the line again, the Iron Master assumed that he felt embarrassed. Now, who was not nicely clad? Clad means CLAD, clad means dressed up. Definitely, the red trap seller was not nicely dressed up. So, the Iron Master assumed that he felt embarrassed. So, who is he here? That is the peddler. So, who does he refer to here? Peddler. The Iron Master conjectured that the listener felt embarrassed because the listener wore old clothes, cheap clothes, old fashioned clothes, shabby clothes. So, answer, he was wearing dirty clothes, and for dirty, another word is shabby. The actual reason for not accepting the Ironmaster's invitation by the listener was he thought of losing his money, he was wearing shabby clothes, he thought of losing his life, none of these. So I think the red trap seller was not at all related with the Ironmaster. He had no relation with the Ironmaster. He has never known him. And if Ironmaster would come to know about the reality of the red trap seller, he would hand him over to the police, and then it was a matter of life and death. So the answer would be he thought of losing his money. That's why he did not accept the invitation of Ironmaster. The Ironmaster inferred that the listener felt what? It is given here. He felt embarrassed. The word would be embarrassed here. Next extract. Why the devil did I take that follower's money? He thought, now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. Now here is something going on inside the rat trap seller, and he is thinking that why he fell prey to the bait set by the crofter. It means, why did he steal the money of crofter? Now he is in the trap and he will never get out of it. So some kind of repentance, exactly not repentance, some kind of complications were working inside the rat trap seller. Now, first question, who is the speaker of our statement? Definitely, the rat trap seller is talking to himself. So, the answer is the peddler. Children, again I am saying, don't confuse peddler and rat trap seller, both are same. How is the speaker feeling for his act of stealing money? Pleased, afraid, regret, proud. So, he was not happy, he was not afraid, he was not proud, but he was regretting it. Why did he steal? Because now he is in the trap. The speaker is realizing that he should return the money that he has stolen. He would never steal anything. He would never trust anybody. He has again been caught in the trap. So I think D1 is the answer. He has again been caught in the trap. Fourth question, the speaker thinks that he will never get out of. Definitely the answer is trap. Now next extract. It is not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge, but no harm has been done. Now, what is this instance? Children, if you remember, when Iron Master next day recognized him, so how did the rat trap seller try to save himself? That's the mention here. So, what did he say? The rat trap seller said, "Sir, I have never pretended to be anything. I just confessed myself as a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged to be allowed to be stay in the forge. But I have done no harm. I have done no nothing." So here, the red trap seller has been caught by the ironmaster that no, he is some strange person. He is not Niels Olaf, and now the red trap seller is pleading in front of the ironmaster. So the question of the speaker is talking about the fault of being considered as an honest man, staying in the forge, being mistaken for an old acquaintance, all of these. So, as the red trap seller was pleading, so it means he said that his fault was that he was being mistaken as an old acquaintance. The speaker never pretended to be a poor trader, gentleman, peddler, anything else than a poor trader. So the answer would be peddler, because he means pretended to be a poor trader. He pretended to be a gentleman. Alright, the speaker had only implored the listener to let him stay in his home for a night, stay in his forge for a night, work in his mill, stay in his forge for a few days. So it is given here. I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge. So answer would be stay in his forge for a night. Next question, the speaker further added that he had not done any clear, but no harm has been done in the extract. The answer would be harm. Next extract, he walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always, he is afraid of being arrested and cross examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here. Just one in the whole year. Alright, I think these are the words of the daughter, and the daughter's name is Edla Wilmenson. So, who spoke the above statement and to whom? The Edla spoke to her father, that is the ironmaster. Here, the speaker expressed his or her anger for the vagabond, sympathy for the vagabond, hatred for the vagabond, love for the vagabond. So, the answer is sympathy for the vagabond. The vagabond, now children, again a new word is there. Rat trap seller, peddler, vagabond. All these three are same person. Again I am saying to you, rat trap seller, peddler, vagabond, all these three are same person. So don't confuse. So the vagabond kept on wandering the entire year as he was not welcomed anywhere. He did not feel at home anywhere. He was chased away from everywhere. All of these. So I think all of these is the answer. The dash was always afraid of being arrested, cross examined. So who was afraid of being arrested? That is vagabond. And vagabond also means the rat trap seller. Honored and noble miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return as if I was real captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at the Christmas season by a thief, but you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers. Whose lines are these? Clearly, if you remember the story, these are lines by the rat trap seller, peddler, vagabond. All three same persons. Now here comes the repentance, real repentance of the rat trap seller. He had written a letter to Edla Wilmenson and he returned 30 kroners also, and he is saying, return the money to the person, that is the old crofter, because this 30 kroners act as a bait for poor wanderers and they get trapped in this bait. Now, here the author conveys a message that we must return others' things if taken against others' ways. We should never change our guys, and we must be nice to the people who are nice to us. None of these. So I think he just repents back the same which he got. He got a nice treatment from Iron Master and his daughter. So he returned the same thing. That is, we must be nice to the people who are nice to us. So here is the author conveys this message. The peddler turned into a nice person due to the fear of being arrested, the Iron Master's kindness and hospitality, at last kindness and hospitality, none of these. Children, the right answer would be at last kindness and hospitality, because when Iron Master came to know about the Rattrap seller that he is not the Captain Neil Soloff, he wanted to hand him over to the police. But suddenly there was the entry of Edla Winmanson, and he said that, Father, don't hand him over, because as it is Christmas, we have invited him as a Christmas guest, so kindly don't take the strict action. So it was only at last kindness and hospitality which brought a change inside the rat trap seller. The peddler kept 30 kroners into the rat traps so that Edla would use them for herself. The Iron Master expenditure on the peddler would be reimbursed. Edla could give them back to the crofter. Edla would not consider him a thief. So the answer is Edla could give them back to the crofter. The peddler did not disclose the real identification on Christmas Day as he wanted Edla not to be. Answer is embarrassed. Because he said that he is captain, same captain, and he behaved as a captain. Alright. So children, that's all in this video for today. Hope you enjoyed this session with the discussion of question answers, and I hope you will get benefited in the future with this video. Till my next video, thank you and goodbye.